Ethical leadership. Having an impact on the lives of those being led. Our outline today will include leadership defined, ethical theories, conduct, character, and virtues, ethical perspectives from Heifetz, Burns, and Greenleaf, ethical principles including respect, service, justice, honesty, and community, and finally a conclusion. When thinking about ethics and their impact on leadership, one must first define ethics as Aristotle did, deriving meaning from the original word ethos, meaning customs, conduct, and character. When translating that into leadership, Nordhaus suggests ethics has to do with what leaders do and who leaders are. According to Nordhaus, ethical theories can be categorized into two domains: conduct and character. Nordhaus reminds us that when one is thinking of the conduct of an ethical leader, two distinct frames of thought that include the consequences of the leader's actions and those that emphasize the duty or rules governing the leader's actions. As the chart suggests, there are three approaches, according to Nordhaus, when assessing consequences of leaders: ethical egotism, which is a self-rewarding approach to leadership; utilitarianism, which maximizes social benefits; and the opposite of ethical egotism is altruism, in which the needs of others are considered as the primary motivation for ethical decisions. Nordhaus also suggests that not only are the consequences important when pondering ethical leadership, but the character of a leader determines their view of their duty, the Dios, or just doing the right thing because it's the right thing, which can determine the appropriate response of an ethical leader. In addition to the theories of conduct and character driving ethical decisions, another approach focuses on the virtue of the leaders themselves. These ethics are more about who leaders are as people, rooted in the heart of the individual and in the individual's disposition. Nordhaus also suggests, rather than tell people what to do, attention should be directed toward telling people what to be, or helping them to become more virtuous. Nordhaus states, ethics is central to leadership because of the nature of the process of influence, the need to engage followers in accomplishing mutual goals, and the impact leaders have on the organization's values. Perspective influences practice, and according to Nordhaus, the predominant leading perspectives of ethical leadership come from Heifetz, Burns, and Greenleaf. The perspective of ethical leadership, to which Heifetz adheres, is an approach where leaders use authority to mobilize followers to confront conflict and to address conflict by effecting changes. Nordhaus contends that his approach is related to ethical leadership because it deals with values, the values of workers and the values of the organizations and communities in which they work. Burns' perspective of ethical leadership is related to transformational leadership, which places a strong emphasis on followers' needs, values, and morals. This perspective involves leaders to engage themselves with followers and help them in their personal struggles regarding conflicting values. The resulting connection raises the level of morality in both the leader and the follower. Greenleaf's approach to leadership is based on the concept of a leader as servant first. As Nordhaus notes, servant leadership emphasizes that leaders should be attentive to the concerns of their followers and should empathize with them. They should take care of them and nurture them. The goal of Greenleaf's leadership approach is to encourage others to be the best they can be, which translates into ethical leadership. The ethical leadership principles of respect, service, justice, honesty, and community, according to Nordhaus, provide a foundation of ethical leadership. Each one is equally important for successful leadership. Respect is the simple concept of treating others the way you want to be treated in any and all circumstances. Nordhaus states respect includes giving credence to others' ideas and confirming them as human beings. Ethical leaders that show respect means that a leader listens closely to subordinates, is empathetic, and is tolerant of opposing points of view. It means treating subordinates in ways that confirm their beliefs, attitudes, and values. An ethical leader must be willing to serve others. Nordhaus states, in practicing the principle of service, these and other ethical leaders must be willing to be follower-centered, must place others' interests foremost in their work, and must act in ways that will benefit others. Ethical leaders must show fairness and justice. Treating all with equity and ensuring that decisions are fair and equitable are of utmost importance for the success of an ethical leader. Ethical leaders are honest in all of their dealings with others. Honesty is more than just telling the truth, as Nordhaus suggests. It has to do with being open with others and representing reality as fully and completely as possible. There is a balance, however, that is necessary for ethical leadership, which is to strike the balance between being open and candid while monitoring what is appropriate to disclose in an appropriate situation. An ethical leader's role is to build community among the stakeholders. Building community requires a common goal. Nordhaus states a common goal requires that the leader and followers agree on the direction to be taken by the group. Leaders need to take into account their own and followers' purposes while working toward goals that are suitable for both of them. An ethical leader must understand the goals and purposes of the group and be attentive to the interests of the community and the culture. Understanding oneself is important to develop strong leadership skills. Nordhaus reminds leaders that the theories and principles in this chapter can use the ethical principles described in this research as benchmarks for their own behavior. In conclusion, to be an ethical leader, we must be sensitive to the needs of others, treat others in the way that are just, and care for others. As Nordhaus states, at a very minimum, it is crucial to state that leadership involves values, and one cannot be a leader without being aware of and concerned about one's own values. Because leadership has a moral dimension, being a leader demands awareness on our part of the way our ethics define our leadership.